Welcome back to another episode of Out Loud Geek, where we discuss news and views about pop culture, science fiction, fantasy, food, cooking, the outdoors, and more. As a social media platform, Twitter has had a significant impact on pop culture and the lives of people involved in producing various forms of entertainment. And it also, unfortunately, has given rise to what has become popularly known as cancel culture. While most people access Twitter via its native iOS or Android clients, many have chosen over the years to use one of several third-party client apps. And this past Friday morning, many who use those apps awoke to an unpleasant reality, as none of them were able to connect to the Twitter platform. Initially thought by many to be a glitch within the Twitter API that the third-party clients use to connect to the Twitter platform, it was quickly discovered that other types of apps that use the same API but aren't full-blown clients were having no connectivity issues with Twitter whatsoever. Speculation then began to loom as to whether Twitter had literally pulled the plug on the third-party Twitter clients. And that is what it's increasingly looking like, as explained in this article from Mac Stories. Posted yesterday, the article is entitled, "Twitter Intentionally Ends Third-Party App Developer Access to Its APIs." And below, here are pictures of what two of the most popular third-party clients, Tweetbot on the left and Twitterific on the right, have been showing since the API disruption began on Thursday night. On January 14th, The Informant reported that it had seen some internal Twitter Slack communications, confirming that the company had intentionally cut off third-party Twitter app access to its APIs. The shutdown, which happened Thursday night US time, hasn't affected all apps and services that use the API, but instead appears targeted at the most popular third-party Twitter clients, including Tweetbot by Tapbots and Twitterific by Icon Factory. And now, more than 3 days later, there's still no official explanation from Twitter about why it chose to cut off access to its APIs without any warning whatsoever. The article then goes on to say that Twitter's actions are disgraceful and unprofessional for failing to provide any advance notice of what it was going to do to its users or developers. But it's important to bear in mind that this action is consistent with other decisions that Elon Musk has made for the platform since he became its sole owner and CEO on October 27th, 2022. And while the article goes on to talk about how the third-party clients are what helped to make Twitter what it is today, when they were the only clients in existence for the first few years of Twitter's existence, including the fact that it was the third-party app Twitterific that coined the term tweet, I find it very unlikely that Musk will be in any way sympathetic to that history since he wasn't Twitter's owner at the time, and he's only looking at the company's current ability to increase revenue. The article also extensively talks about the relationship history between the third-party client providers and Twitter, which had its ups and downs throughout the 2010s, but finally began to thaw with the announcement of version 2.0 of the Twitter API, which went into effect in 2021. Not only did the API update make new features available to third-party clients, but Twitter promised to loosen restrictions on third-party developers. That led to renewed interest in third-party client development, resulting in innovative new features in apps like Spring, which was a runner-up in the Best App Update category of the 2022 Mac Stories Selects Awards. As it turns out, Twitter developer detente was short-lived. If Elon Musk did indeed cut off third-party developers, it isn't actually surprising. The author of the article wrote that he expected this to happen sooner, and I had my own doubts as well, but he didn't expect it to be done with an utter lack of respect for the developers who played such a critical role in the service's success for more than a decade. This is where the article overlooks what Elon Musk had been doing at Twitter since he became its sole owner and CEO on October 27th, 2022. He fired 4 top managers at the company on that same day. 1 week later, on November 4th, 2022, Musk laid off 50% of Twitter's then 7,500 employees, leaving it with around 3,700 employees at the time. On November 12th, he fired an estimated 80% of the contract employees. 3 days later, on November 15th, is when Musk fired employees who were critical about him in a private Slack channel. Then the very next day, November 16th, is when Musk issued his ultimatum to employees demanding that they commit to quote-unquote hardcore working conditions by signing an agreement or be let go with 3 months severance. The following day, a majority of the remaining Twitter employees rejected Musk's ultimatum and opted to leave, which they did in droves on November 18th. So in just over 3 weeks, Musk had reduced Twitter's full-time employees down to around 1,800 people or less, which was a reduction of at least 76% of the staff that had existed when he had taken over. On that same day of November 18th is when Musk began his controversial poll to reinstate former President Donald Trump's previously banned Twitter account, which Musk then did the following day on November 19th. It was only 10 days later, on November 29th, when Musk reinstated over 62,000 previously banned Twitter accounts. And it was by this point that a large number of advertisers had suspended doing business with Twitter, thus drastically reducing its revenue. One of Musk's immediate responses was to stop paying rent on Twitter's numerous office buildings throughout the world, with many of the building owners reporting by mid-December that rents hadn't been paid. Then, early on Christmas Eve, members of Musk's staff flew to Sacramento, the site of one of Twitter's 3 main computing storage facilities, to disconnect servers that had kept the social media network running smoothly in spite of some employees being worried that losing those servers could cause problems. But saving money was the priority, according to 2 people who were familiar with the move but not authorized to talk about it. And on December 29th, there were numerous reports of Twitter employees having to bring in their own toilet paper to work because Musk had, at some point, fired janitorial services, and that there were, at least in the San Francisco headquarters, reports of dirty food containers and other trash piling up in the office. If Musk isn't all that concerned about poor working conditions that his own employees are facing in offices where trash is piling up and bathrooms aren't being cleaned or restocked, it seems unlikely that he'd be concerned about any adverse consequences faced by the users or developers of third-party client apps, such as Twitterrific or Tweetbot, if he indeed ordered their access to the Twitter platform to be terminated without warning because the third-party clients weren't providing revenue to Twitter since they didn't have access to advertisements on Twitter via its API. Thus, Musk may have viewed the third-party clients as reducing Twitter's revenue. Did the users and developers of the third-party clients deserve better treatment than a silent flip of a switch late one Thursday night on the Twitter API? I would say yes, but that's not how Twitter operates these days. Thanks for watching today, and a huge thanks to everyone who has subscribed to our channel. We appreciate your support. If you enjoyed this video, please press the like button, and please feel free to share a comment. If you'd like to see more of our videos in the future and help support this channel, please press the red subscribe button, and please press the bell to receive notifications for new content. You can also find us on Facebook and Twitter by clicking on the links in the description. Until next time, this is Out Loud Geek.